All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Open Diary. I have a special guest. His name is Mr. Tom. This is Ashley's father, and I had to bring him on because when I seen his comments, it was hard feeling for me.
Make sure it's not on private because I'm not seeing you. Make sure the live is on public, not on private.
Hold on. So
All right, hold on one second. So remember this piece right here, edit. You want to go down here. We just want to put this on because we had it
Take your
on
time, man.
private. Yeah, so we got to put it on public so people can come on.
look.
All right, see, it was on private. That's why nobody was coming on.
So do I start over again with this again, right?
Yeah, because now we're
I
on
I
public.
Yeah.
I can see
all-
it. It's got a live count on
There
it.
we are. Welcome y'all to Open Diary. I have a very special guest on. This is Mr. Tom. A week ago, I did an episode with Ashley, and the comments from her father, it touched my heart. So I just wanted to bring him on because there's two sides of the story. Welcome, Mr. Tom.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, man. Good to
Yes.
meet you.
You too, Mr. Tom. And we all in this fight, and we all in this struggle together. And with that being said, I will give you the floor.
Well, I've been looking for my daughter a long time now, about 5 years, and shit, I didn't even know she was in Philadelphia until I saw her on your show. I've been from here to upstate New York looking for her. I actually spent about 4 or 5 days up in New York, just sitting out on the street in the car, on Clinton Avenue. That's where they usually all hang out and run around and all that kind of thing. And never could find her, man. So, I mean, I've been praying every day, hoping that she'd pop up. And that's another thing too. Like the other day on your show, she was saying, I don't know if I believe in God, and He's never been there for me, and this and that kind of thing. Well, I can tell you that God is the reason why my daughter is still alive. You know what I'm
Amen.
saying? She don't know that, but you know, I'm the prayer that found her. God has been good to me. You know, because I tell you, man, before Ashley, I was running around with the devil myself. You know, and hasn't been an easy road, but I had a lot of fun doing it. I never, let it get to. I did my share of drugs, but I didn't let the drugs do me. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm one of those. I'm a product of the '80s, so that's pretty much where I come from. But Ashley, there was a few things that she said in your show the other day that were pretty disturbing to me, man. She said that I lacked uh, being there for her, and uh, I don't know, a couple other things she said that kind of, I mean, they kind of upset me, but they kind of didn't because I know, where her mind is at right now. You know, the last time I saw Ashley, I had to go to Harlem to pick her up. She got herself arrested in Harlem, and the police called me and said, "Hey, are you Tom Britton, such and such?" And I said, "Yeah, yeah." And he says, "Well, I have your daughter." And I said, "Well, is she okay?" I was waiting for that dreaded call that parents don't ever want to get. That your child is gone. And he said, "Yeah, she's all right. She's pretty sick." He says, "You're going to have to come and get her." And I said, "Well, where are you?" He said, "I'm at the 83rd precinct in Harlem." And I said, "I'll be there as soon as I can." I was coming at the time. I was living in Virginia, and I went up there from Virginia and got her out of jail. Uh, Put her in my truck, and I had to make a little bed in the back seat of the truck for her because she was so sick. She was dope sick, and it was a rough ride. I had a place set up for her down here in Sanford, Florida, and I drove straight through. I didn't even stop in Virginia. That's where my wife was at. Uh, yeah, I didn't even stop. I just called my wife and said, "Hey, I got to get this kid, where she's going because she's sick." I wouldn't have been able to take care of her if I took her to the house. So I brought her to Sanford, Florida, and put her in rehab. And she was in there for 90 days. And when she came out, she was absolutely beautiful, man. She had her weight back, and she was she's my little girl again. You know.
Well,
Sorry,
what
bro.
kind of? It's okay. You don't have to be sorry. I feel your pain. I know it got to be heartbroken just to see something you love that way. But what kind of lifestyle did she have growing up?
Well,
Was she a good kid?
growing up, she was. Well, to be honest with you, um, I didn't even know I had a daughter until she was 2 years old. I can't. I've been all over the country working. I was an iron worker most of my life. Fence. I did commercial fence work, and at the time, I was out in Colorado, and I was talking to my sister on the phone, and I had gone back, periodically to New York because I still have family there, and I've gone back, periodically to visit. And this particular time, I hadn't been home in probably it'd been about 6 years since I was home. And my sister called me, and well, let me back up a little bit. I went to visit one time, and that's when I ended up with her mother. Um, I'd known her mother since high school, and we ended up hooking up when I went back to visit. So, after the visit was over and everything, I went back to Colorado. And about 2 years, I talked to my sister, uh, along the way, and she told me, "Hey, I saw Kim. That's Ashley's mother. I saw her in a grocery store." I said, "Really? How's she doing?" She goes, "Well, you should know that you have a daughter."
Oh
She,
wow.
she's Yeah. She says she's 2 years old. And at the time, I was with a girl that I had been with for like 15 years. We left here in Florida together to move out to Colorado for me to work. And, my girl at the time, she had a couple kids. So I actually raised two kids of hers with her. They weren't my kids, but I helped her raise them. And so she was a little older than me. At the time, she was, I don't know, 12 years older than me or whatever, but she couldn't have kids anymore. So I told her about what happened. I said, "Hey, we were actually split up at the time when I went to visit. So I didn't get myself in trouble." But anyway, I told her what happened. I said, my sister had called me and told me that I have a daughter. And I talked to my girl about it. She goes, "Well, you know that, uh, I'm not going to have any more kids. You know that, right?" And I said, "Yeah." And she says, "You should go do the right thing." And that's what I did. I mean, I left everything behind. I had a beautiful home, and, I had a nice shop out in the back and all that kind of thing. And I just took my truck and my two German shepherds, and I headed back to New York. So when I got back, uh, the first thing I wanted to do was see my kid. And when I went to see her, when I got to the house, she, all I could, she was actually the one who answered the door. She was about 3 years old at the time, and
Oh.
she was all wrapped up in bandages, right? And all you could see was these two little eyeballs behind all the bandages. And I'm like, "What the hell happened?" She said, "I got bit by a dog. Just a little bit of a thing." And I just, I, I don't even want. I probably shouldn't even get into that. But anyway, uh, that's what happened. That's the first time I met my daughter. She was half her face was torn off by her mother's boyfriend's dog. Right. So you know, her mom. Her mom was a party girl. She was a bartender. Did a lot of partying, a lot of drugging, a lot of drinking, all that kind of thing. And I did too back in my day. I did a lot of partying. But yeah, I gave up a lot to go back and raise my kid. I actually thought that I was gonna, hook up with her mom again and we'd do it together, but it didn't work out that way. By the time I got back, she already had a boyfriend. So it turned out that because she had a boyfriend, I ended up taking over her apartment, and she went and lived with her boyfriend, and I took Ashley and her brother, who was probably 5 years old at the time, and I had the two of them more than their mother did. So that was another thing that really bothered me about what Ashley said, that I wasn't there, and that kind of nonsense, because I was there. You know, um,
Well, sometimes,
and
but sometimes at the time when the drugs is involved, it's easy to blame the fault on somebody else
oh
because
yeah,
they own embarrassment. You know,
absolutely,
but
absolutely.
when I was talking to her about you the other day, I could see the pain in her as she just was embarrassed, but I know she still have love for you. But what could we do to possibly get it back home to you?
She's got to make that choice, bro. She's got to make that choice. She knows. No matter what she says, you know. You know what? If my daughter didn't hate me once in a while, I did not been doing my job right. You know what I'm saying? Any parent that their kids are gonna, if their kids don't hate them once in a while, that parent isn't doing their job. That's the way I look at it. You know, I've I'm sure I've pissed her off plenty of times by not letting her do stuff or not agreeing with stuff that she was doing. I mean, that's what parents do. You know, but like I said, in some of our conversations, I don't claim to be father of the year, but I did the best I could, man. I worked hard, and she never wanted for anything, and neither did her brother. And her brother, actually, his dad is a good friend of mine. He's a really good guy. He was the every other weekend dad type of guy, and I was her mother would come on the weekends and drop off food or whatever, and you know that was that. And it's been a long road with that injury and everything with the dog and all that. Her mother, come to find out, um, took $5,000 from the boyfriend's homeowner's insurance. They offered her 5 grand to settle that out, and I had found out about it because she bought back then. Remember the old dinosaur TVs? The
Yeah,
black box TVs.
yeah.
Well, she bought a 27-inch TV for the kids, and I said, "Where'd you get the money for that?" She goes, "Oh, the insurance company gave it to me." I said, "Really?" She goes, "Yeah, they gave me 5 grand." And I said, "So the insurance company gave you 5 grand. The only thing you bought for these kids was that 27-inch TV. Is that what you're telling me?" She goes, "Well, I got bills to pay and stuff." I said, "Really?" Because I'm paying all the bills right now. You know what I mean? So I said that
Yeah.
that's
So
that. I told her, I said, "That's not going to work for me." So that's another thing that Ashley fails to mention. I settled the suit for Ashley for 280 grand, and she doesn't tell nobody that because her and her mother blew the whole thing.
oh
You
wow.
know. So yeah, it's been a long road.
So I seen in the comment though, you had said she don't need rehab. She just need to come home. But do you really believe she could just come home without going to get help and treatment again?
No, no. See, what I was thinking was, because I've been through this a couple times with her, and I was thinking, she can dose whatever she needs to dose and get on the bus and not be sick all the way home. And I'll get her detox. She's got to be detoxed, because if she don't, she's going to be sicker than hell. And I mean, I could take care of her. I've taken care of her all her life, but I think she's going to need medical help. You know what I mean? And I've already made those arrangements, man. I got the emergencies right up the road. If she wants to go to rehab, I'll take her to rehab. But like the last time she went to, I got choked up there for a minute, so I didn't really get to finish what I was telling you. But when she came back from that rehab after 90 days, she was back 3 days. And she asked my wife. She said, "Can you take me to a meeting?" And my wife said, "Sure, of course, I'll take you to a meeting." So she took her, and my wife was pulling away and actually didn't go in. And my wife got to like the end of the driveway of where the place was, and she kept looking in the mirror and looking in the mirror, and Ashley never did go in. And she pulled off, thinking that maybe she's just standing outside having a cigarette or whatever. She'll go in. So my wife got back home. She told me all that, and I knew right then and there I was never going to see Ashley again. And I was right. She took off. She had a kid from New York come down, pick her up, and brought her back up to New York. And that was the last time I saw her. And that was about 6 years ago, man.
So I know, it was pain when you seen her on, during the interview, but was it also relief to see it, to know that she wasn't dead?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It was like, yeah, all I could say was thank you, Jesus.
And I'm sorry you're
So
going through this, but you got some comments. Miss Mary Neve, she say, "Tom, I'm sorry for all," and she also, hold on. Could you see that on the screen?
Barely. I don't know if I can. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now I can.
Yeah. So there's a lot of love here,
Thank you.
and
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a long, hard road, man. I mean, I don't want to tell you all the horror stories, and I don't want to embarrass Ashley either, because drugs will get the best of you. I've been there. I know
well,
all about it.
we're not here for that. We're here to, be able to come up with a resolution we could get it back home, get it back to you, because I don't know if you ever been to Philadelphia, Kensington, but it's
I
rough
never.
there.
No, I haven't been, but I've been. Uh, a friend of mine actually sent me a video from Kensington. I knew nothing about Kensington, and I saw all the trank addicts and all that along the street during the summertime and all that, and I was horrified. I'm thinking, is this what my daughter is doing? Is she all hunched over like that? And I've never seen that before. I've never. That's that trank thing. That's a whole new thing to me. I've never seen anything like that. But
Yeah, because
I watched a couple. Actually, I was subscribed to. I'm still subscribed to Peter Santillo. I don't know if you ever heard of him, but he's got a YouTube channel. He's got a YouTube channel as well, and he did a video, like a little documentary with the guy from The Rock, the Ministry. Walked all around, the town, and that showed what was really going on. And then a friend of mine had seen Ashley do an interview with another guy that I think was probably USA Fox. You ever heard of that guy?
yes.
She did an interview with him, and that video was sent to me, so that kind of uh, proved to me that she was in Kensington. But then again, it was, from the video was from 3 years ago. So I'm like, she could be anywhere now. Still don't know where she is. And then just a couple of weeks ago, uh, a friend of mine, actually her dead boyfriend's, the father of her first baby, uh, his sister sent me that video of you. And that's when I'm like going nuts. That's my daughter. Trying to hook up with somebody that uh, actually knew where she was at the time. So yeah, just to know that she was still alive, because I didn't know. I mean, I got to the point where I tell myself, well, maybe she's just dead. I was trying to come to grips with that's a very good possibility that she's just dead. You know, I mean, I called every cop in Philadelphia, every detective department. I mean, you name it. I mean, I've made so many phone calls. You know, you think I was a telemarketer or something, man? I made so many phone calls. But
Man, I can understand because you love somebody, you go in for them, And she
well,
showed me some of her basketball. She showed me her basketball clippings, and she shot the ball like Curry. Did you teach her
say,
how to
man,
do that?
she gets that from me. She does. I grew up in the projects. I was a project kid, and be honest
Okay.
with you, uh, the park where I learned to play ball was a little bit too. The closer park was where all the black kids were on the other side of the river. They had a nice court underneath the bridge, and I used to go over there and play. And I'd shoot the ball, in between their breaks in the games and stuff. And finally, they let me play, and it ended up I used to go over there all the time and play. I was the only white kid on the court, man. But yeah, I used to take Ashley to the park all the time, play basketball. She was good in baseball too. She was really good in
Yeah,
baseball. Yeah,
yeah,
she's a tough little shit too. She used to beat the boys up.
and, and one thing I say about out here, she's she isolate to herself. She don't really be with the
She's
crowd.
well, I'll tell you, Jay. She's a street smart kid, because that's another thing she got from me. I didn't have a dad growing up. I was the youngest in the family, and I had two older brothers that were way older than me and didn't spend any time with me at all. But I had two older sisters that took me everywhere. Because my mom had to work a couple jobs to feed us. Back then. So my two sisters had me all the time, and my oldest sister was probably she was 10 years older than I am, but she got married at 18. She got pregnant, got married, and my brother-in-law was actually a biker. So between my sister having me all the time, um, that's the kind of lifestyle I grew up in. I mean, I played my sports and stuff like that, but when it came to role models and stuff like that, my role models were bikers. You know, they they looked out for me. They took care of me. They put clothes on my back. They taught me motorcycles. They were one percenters were my heroes. So that's the way I grew up, and I passed. You know, I know more about the street than I know of anything about school. I dropped out of high school when I was in ninth grade, because by the time I got to be a freshman in high school, it was just me and my mom left, in the projects. And by that time, my mom couldn't do a lot of work, and we were hungry, And I was getting ready to start my sophomore year of high school, And instead of going to school, I just kept walking past the school and up the hill to the price chopper and got myself a job so that me and my mom could eat. And I just never went back to school. I learned everything I know, and I grew up in a Catholic school. My mom did manage to put me through a Catholic school, and that's where I learned math and English and how to write and all that kind of thing. And then by the time I got to high school, it wasn't about nothing but selling joints before school and girls and high school was a waste of time to me. I wanted to be making money, so that's that's what I did. Went to work.
Well, you got a lot of love, and just want you to know you're not the only one going through this. I don't know if you can see this, but this is from Rock and Roll.
Says I feel your pain. My son was in the grips of addiction. Let me see what. It's so hard knowing they're not calling or knowing where they are. Never give up hope. I know, brother. I feel you there.
And
Yeah, I
also,
feel you there. There's
and
not. There's no
also,
worse. I don't think there's any worse feeling in the world than not knowing where your kid is.
and this Megan right here, Megan Hill, Miss Megan Hill.
You're a good man, Tom. God bless you. God bless you, sweetheart.
So we just want you to know we all in it together,
Yeah, oh
and
yeah. Oh yeah.
that's
God loves
my
us
word.
all.
Absolutely, without him, it's not possible. Because when I met Ashley a few years ago, I was in my addiction, Mr. Tom. And we used to have good conversations, but God delivered me, and I'm forever grateful for that today. So
Man, God,
now,
God saved my life. I didn't. I always say, um, I didn't find God because you know how a lot of people say I found God and he saved me and all that kind of. God found me, man. And, that's how I
amen.
feel because I tell you what, I ran around with the devil for a very long time and to be quite honest with you, I did a lot of bad things in my life. Uh,
You're not
never
you're
hurt
not the
any.
only one.
Never hurt anybody, but I did a lot of bad things. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and act like an angel or nothing because I've been in and out of jail. I've been down the rough road, man. I've been in jail. I've been out of jail. I've been in jail. And that was one of the reasons why I chased my daughter around for so long because I didn't. When it comes to drugs, you're either going to end up in jail or you're going to end up dead. That's all there is to it. You know. And I would
Absolutely.
pray that she'd get arrested. And I mean, my prayers have always been answered, but this last time, this has been a long road. This last 6 years has been a long
Well,
road. I thought for sure, I'm
well,
just I'm so
and within the
I'm just
last
so
few
grateful
years,
she's alive.
amen to that. And within the last few years of me knowing her, she had been in and out of rehabs 4 or 5 different times because she, she'd go and she'd come back out and she has her weight and it's a pretty girl, and then she, relapse. She goes and come back and forth, but sometimes she go
You
give
can't.
herself a break.
Well, you can't. You can't go to rehab and then come back out in the same environment. You know.
Right,
You come
right.
back out in that environment with not. I mean, she might have some support. I'm sure she's got friends or whatever, but the friends that she had are probably just as messed up as she was. And Ashley has a heart of gold. She'll put others before herself. She'll do without to do for others. That's just the way she is. Uh, she I she's got a heart of gold. She knows and she's not stupid. She knows how to not be taken advantage of. And I think if anything in my life that I taught her, it was how to be street smart and don't let people take advantage of you. And you know if some guy gets a hold of you or whatever, you fight, you kick, you bite, You do whatever you got to do, rip his dick off. Excuse my language. If that's what you got to do, that's what you got to do, and she knows that, and she will. She will fight until she dies. I promise you that. So,
Well, it's a
I,
chance right now that she's watching this. So if she was watching this, what would you want to say to her? What would you say to her, Mr. Tom?
I'd want to. I'd want to. I'd want to tell her I love her first off, and then I'd ask her if she was done. I'd say, "Ask her, are you done yet? Are you done now?" That's what I want to know. Are you done? Time to end this shit because I mean, if I could tell her to her face, I'd look her right in the eye and I said, "You're gonna die. You're gonna die, Ashley, if you don't stop." You can't tell me that all the time. This has been going on for a long time. You can't tell me that she doesn't have some stuff going on inside her. I'm pretty sure she's probably done some damage to her body. Her insides, her organs, and stuff like that. I mean, it's got to be. I mean, I know myself. I went through all of that. I had hepatitis C at one time. And, I'm. It takes a lot of work to come back, man. You know.
Well, if you was face to face with her, would you grab her and hug her? Because that's what she probably needs right now, and also,
Yeah. I probably wouldn't be able to let go of her, man. I just, I'd hug her. I sure would.
and you could believe this because me and my friend AML, we devoted to this, and that's our word. We not gonna quit until we could possibly deliver into rehab or get it back in touch with you.
Yeah, I don't understand a lot of her reasoning. I don't know why. I mean, I'm easy enough to get a hold of. She knew how to get a hold of me. You know, um, I don't understand why she didn't. I mean, I was tough on her. I was tough. I gave her some tough love. I really did. I'm not gonna lie. And she knows that she knows that she can't bullshit a bullshitter. You know what I mean? I've been there. There's nothing my daughter could say to get over on me. You know what I mean? I, I know her too well. I've done the same thing. I've gotten over on people. I've scammed my way through bullshit and scammed and lied and cheated and stole and you name it. Everything a drug addict is capable of, I did. And I'm not proud of it, but I survived it. And that's what I want her to do. I want her to stop doing what she's doing and survive.
Well,
I mean,
let me ask you this, Mr. Tom. Is there things that you wish that you would have did differently with her?
uh, yeah, yeah. Well, I shouldn't have took her to a lot of places that I took her to, but I didn't have any choice. You know, um, I her mom was gone off. There was no. If her mom, if I called her mom, say, hey, can you take Ashley and Brandon for a while so that I can go do what I need to do to make some money or whatever. And, a lot of times I had to take Ashley to work with me. I had to bring her in places that you don't bring kids. And, yeah, I would, there's a lot of things I would have done different. But as far as loving her was concerned and providing for her, I think I did a pretty good job. But yeah, quite honest with you, Ashley saw a lot of things that kids shouldn't see. Just like I did. I saw a lot of things that kids shouldn't see. But, it makes you who you are.
Right, right. So, what support do you feel fathers don't get enough of in situations like this?
I I don't, I don't know, man. I think that a lot of the things, I'm pretty proud of a lot of things that I did for Ashley, and you know, somehow I still end up the bad guy. You know, she got a settlement for $280,000, and I didn't see a dime of it. You know, and I'm the one that paid for the lawyer. So, you know, eh, I don't know what it is. You know, her mom, rest her soul, was not the best mom in the world, and she wasn't the most loving mom like Ashley talks about. But she lifts her up and she puts her up on that pedestal, and that's okay, you know. But
Right,
as
because
a ma-
that's still her
I
mom,
can't. That's
Mr.
right.
Tom,
I
and
can't. I can't say nothing. I can't say nothing bad about her mom. I loved her mom. Me and her mom were friends for a long time before Ashley ever came about. You know, I went to high school with her mom. She was a good friend of mine. She dated all my friends. You know, I didn't hook up with her until I was 30 years old by the time I hooked up with her. Actually, I didn't have Ashley until I was 30 years old. You know, I didn't really, I never really wanted kids because I was always with women who had them. You know,
so
so
what's going on with Ashley kids? Are you active in their life?
I know. Well, her brother has her firstborn, her son, and they're up in upstate New York. And I talk to him on the phone and stuff like that. But I haven't seen my grandson since Ashley lost him to her brother. Her brother just took him. He said, hey, "You're not getting him back until you get your shit together." And he's raised him since he was probably, I want to say, 2 years old. But you know, he's up there and I'm down here, and you know, we talk on the phone and stuff like that. Uh, you know, I'd like to have a relationship with my grandson, but you know, it's like it's a whole nother world, you know. And as
Well,
far as she has, I guess, from what I understand, she's had two kids since the last time I saw her. So those kids I've never seen. I don't know who their father is. I don't know anything about them.
well, I
But
believe.
I do know that Ashley hasn't seen them. And as a matter of fact, that first video that I told you about, she said word for word the same thing she told you the other night, that her kids and her father, her husband were coming to get her and taking her to breakfast, and then they're going to drop her off at rehab. And that is exactly word for word what she said the last time in that first video from USA Fox. She said the same thing. Yeah, I'm going to get help. I'm going to go Tuesday. I'm going to get picked up for breakfast. Then we're going to go. Then I'm going to get dropped off. It's word for word the same story, man. And you know, while I was watching your video, I was like, oh my god, you know, please rescue this kid for me.
Right.
So
And see, the only way, the way I got in touch with you, you know, my good friend Mel, you know, so right now I would like to introduce you to him.
Hey,
hey,
Mr.
man.
Tom, how you doing, pal? I'm the one you reach out to on Facebook, and I relate
Right,
the
right.
message to our brother Jay. I'm glad that you are trying your best to get your daughter. You remind me of a
Yeah,
fella
man.
named Randy. Randy was just like you. He
Yeah,
saw his daughter on videos in Kensington, and he came to save his daughter, but unfortunately, she ended up dying. And I pray that your
yeah.
situation will not be that way.
And
And
and you know what, man? It could happen any minute. And I'm just praying that I can get her in my hands before that happens. You know,
mhm,
I'm scared to death. Honest to God, I'm scared to death. I got new hope here since I hooked up with you on Facebook and all that. I got a new hope, and I just, I, you know, I'm gonna be awful mad at God if we don't get this finished. You know, but
mhm.
I shouldn't say that, but you know, he's got me this far, and I
Amen to that.
truly, I honestly believe that she's still alive because of God. There's no other way that she would be alive. I mean, I honest to God, prayed every day. I mean, from the time I got up until the time I go to bed, and sometimes I don't even sleep, man. Just
Absolutely. Father's heartbreak.
wondering. It's terrible. It's the worst feeling any parent could ever go through. Wondering when you're going to get that call from a detective. I was waiting for the call for a call from the guy from Harlem. Hey, I got your daughter, but this time she's not okay. I'd play these scenarios through my head. You know,
Yeah.
just
Well,
kind
sorry
of
you got.
trying to prepare myself for it. And then, now she pops up in a video, and I'm like, man, I'm so close now, you know.
Yeah.
And I just, if it falls apart now, man, I don't know.
It's not gonna fall apart. It's falling together.
I hope so, bro. I hope so.
No,
I
no,
have.
don't hope, brother. We not hoping over it. We speaking it into existence. It will happen. We have to believe.
I trust in God, brother. I
Amen.
really
Keep
do.
trusting. He will not let you down.
No, he never has. Never has. I let him down plenty of times, though.
Look at that. And he still
I,
forgive us, right?
I
He
ain't gonna.
still take care of
I
us
ain't.
no matter how bad
That's
we are.
right.
He still love us. Just we have to
That's
do the
right.
same thing with our kids
Sometimes I wonder why he loves me so much.
because you his child.
If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here either, bro.
So, Mr. Tom, what advice will you give to parents who are going through similar situation as you?
I think at this point, I would say never give up.
Mm,
Never give up. And the biggest thing I had to do was put it in God's hands.
yeah, right.
I don't know that I would have survived if I kept doing what I was doing because I mean, honest to God, I was running myself ragged. I was running up and down this coast, man, looking for this kid. And be honest with you, I even went and I know a lot of bikers. I know a lot of club members, and I'd go and
Mhm.
I'd grab a couple of them, and we go down to Albany, and we get a lead or a clue or whatever, and we'd start kicking doors in. Sometimes, one time I did drag her out. I did drag her out of a place one time, and she was mad as hell at me for that, but didn't do me any good. Because she went right back at it. She was old enough to know better, and wasn't much I could do about it. But I thought if I scared the shit out of her, she'd stop, and that didn't work either. But you know, it is what it is, man. I ran myself ragged with it. Let's put it that way. And then finally, I said, you know what, God, you got to keep her alive for me until she decides that it's time to come home. Sooner or later, it's going to come to a point where you had enough. I mean, it's cold out there, and you get tired of not having some place to sleep or any place to go, and nobody cares about you. That's a hell of a life. You don't know where your next meal's coming from. You got to go do stupid shit so you can get yourself a pack of cigarettes. It's just ain't no life.
Right.
It's no life at all. So I would say to any parent, just if you love your kid like I do,
It's okay, Mr. Tom.
just
And
trust
I'm
in
glad.
God.
Mm,
Just
I'm
trust in
glad.
God. That's all you got to do, man. Trust in God.
Yeah, we're glad you're being open about this because it's a conversation a lot of parents don't want to talk about. We deal with a lot of people in active addiction who tell us their side of the story, and we can only listen to their side because we don't know the parents' side. But we know that everyone's suffering, everyone hurt, not just the addict. People who love them also too are suffering. And I tell these people out here, just because you think that you're doing the drugs, your people who love you are also. They don't have to put a needle in their arm or put a pipe in their mouth to feel the heartache that you're causing. We all suffers.
You know what? I would rather be beat with a baseball bat than go through this kind of hurt, man.
Amen to that. Agree with you 100%. Like they said, loving
I
an addict is the hardest thing you'll ever do in your life because it's not easy to love an addict. It's the hardest thing ever. But we just
I
we
saw
can't give up. Yeah, we
I
have to.
s-
That's all we could do is try, Mr. Tom. That's all we can
the
do.
last time I saw her when I picked her up, I swear to God, I never saw a child so sick in my life. And I prayed and prayed and prayed that she'd be done, and she wasn't. She wasn't ready yet. Even after 90 days in rehab, she still wasn't ready to stop. And I said, God damn, I don't know I didn't know what else to do, you know. And but I tell you, not knowing is probably the worst part of all of it. Is you don't know where she is. You don't know who's. You know, as a
Mhm.
matter of fact, I did talk to her one time quite a few years ago. This was only probably a month after she took off. She called me and she needed money. And I said, Ashley, what's going on? I said, you know, are you being held against your will? And as soon as I said that, she said yes. And then as soon as I said that, right after she said yes, she hung up the phone. And I never heard from her again after that. So, after that, then I was really losing my mind. That's when I got in the car. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I ruined a marriage because of this. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Ashley ruined my marriage or anything like that because she didn't. I did. I put Ashley uh, before I did anything else. My wife didn't. She couldn't understand that, and I told her. I said, look, uh, you know, she's more important to me than this. Than what we're doing right here, and nothing else mattered to me at the time. And I don't know if that was selfish or what, but I told my wife, I said, you know what? I'm not going to put you through this anymore. I'm not going to put myself through it anymore. I'm just going to do what I got to do because I would go, I mean, for a long time, I was getting Ashley in and out of jail all the time. And my wife would say, oh, you're going again. You got to let her be. You got to let her want to stop. And I said, I'm going to get my daughter, whether you like it or not, I'm going to get her, you know, and, as wonderful of a woman she was, I couldn't put her through it anymore. I mean, what are you going to do? So I don't want to complain and say that this is I'm the victim or anything like that because I don't feel that way. But I would die for my daughter. I'd take a bullet for her right now. Yeah, she's my kid, and I'll tell you, this just knowing in the past couple days that she's still alive is a blessing to me. To be able to even she doesn't look healthy. She doesn't look like my little girl. But she's still mine, and I know that she's alive, and that's
And from now on, I will keep you informed what's going on, and hopefully, the next time I run into her, I could have her make that call. You know.
it's a big deal, man. I wanted to get right. And I know, the one thing she did tell the truth about the other day was she's scared to death. She doesn't want to be that sick, man. She knows that she could. She knows that she's not going to stop doing it, and everything's going to be great. She knows she's going to be sick as hell. She knows that there's a chance that she might not even survive that. So that's why I want to be there. I want to be there. I want to make sure that she survives it. You know,
And you said
if
earlier that
they,
uh, all she got to do is contact the Rock Ministries, right?
yeah, either that or I'll come and get her. I'll drive up there and get her, man. I'm 16 hours away, but I'll be on my way right now if she wants to come home. I
That's
swear
great.
to God, I'll leave right now
Mhm.
and
I
come and
just
get
got the
her.
chills to hearing that.
Yes. Yes.
I'll drive. I mean, it's 15, 16 hours away, but I tell you, if my daughter wants to come home, I'll come and get her right now. I will leave right this minute.
And I'm so glad we're hearing your side because the parents matter also too, not just the person in the struggle. You matter too. So it's great to hear you, talk about this.
It's
And that just gave me more motivation to go out and find her
Hmm.
and make this happen for y'all.
Absolutely. We feel your
I,
pain.
I,
We are fathers. We are both fathers. So
I,
we don't
I,
even have to be fathers. Just having a heart, like being a human.
I,
We feel your pain.
I swear to God, bro, I'll leave right now. I swear to God, I will.
And I know you would. You
And
would do anything
I'll
for
put
her.
that kid in the back of my truck just like I did the last time, sick as hell, and I'll come and do it again. I don't
And
give a fuck how cold it is up there.
I pray that she have a change of heart because when we spoke with her, she said she has a hole in her heart. So hopefully this reconnection will fill that hole in her heart with more,
She's got,
peace.
I like I said, I'm not gonna claim to be father of the year. I mean, she said that she sat there and waited for me, and for hours and hours, and that I didn't show up. I can tell you that the only time, one time that did happen, and I really regret it. But that one time, I was on my way to jail when that happened, and there was no choice. Dad wasn't coming home that night because he got arrested.
All right.
So that's what happened.
Mistakes, Mr.
But
Tom. That's the past. We learn from our mistake. And like Ashley, she have her only thing. Her kids is gonna hold against her too. But she
Absolutely.
got to realize that what
she
she's doing to you is her kids is gonna do the same thing to her.
she's only a lot worse. It's going to be a lot worse because you know what? She had these kids, and the drugs were a lot more important than the kids. And she knew that after the first kid, and then she went and had two more. And I, I don't know anything about those kids, but someday they're
Mm,
going to be on a video and they're going to say, "My mommy, I didn't know my mother. My mother took off when I was a baby,
absolutely.
and my daughter knows me. You know,
Yeah.
she damn well better because I did the best I could to make sure that she grew up right, and nobody took advantage of her, and I tried. I mean, I didn't know shit about being a father. I didn't have a father.
Mm,
I didn't have a father. I had no idea how to be a father, but I knew that I had to at least try. I had to go back to New York and at least try. Because I didn't want my kid to not have the things, not be like me. I wouldn't wish my life on any kid. What my father took off when I was 2 years old. He raised my sisters and brothers. They were all older than me. My one sister was 6 years old when he took off, and I was two. So I never really knew him. Him and my mother were together for 24 years. They were both Marines. My mother and my father were Marines, and they met in the Marine Corps. And my oldest brother was born in Camp Lejeune, South Carolina. So, you know, but by the time I came around, I was a mistake. My mom didn't have me until she was 40 years old. You know, so that's why my sisters raised me. You know, and I mean, I was around bikers more than I was around kids my own age. You know, so
Well, however it go, nobody's perfect, and we all make
nah,
mistakes. But it sounds like you did the best you could do. And when I
I
talked to her,
did.
and she says about things in the past, I say, "Screw that, Ashley. It ain't what he did. It's what he's trying to do now."
right.
You know.
Yeah, I don't. I really don't think I did anything so bad that she needs to hold a grudge against me because a lot of the good things in her life I feel that I'm the one that's responsible for.
Well,
Anything that's ever happened good to my daughter is had a lot to do with me. I can tell you that, and I can say it wholeheartedly without. I don't have any regrets. The only regrets I have in raising my daughter is sometimes I made a mistake, like y'all were saying. I made my mistakes. I really did, but I tried not to, have them reflect on my kid, or you know, I mean, ultimately, sooner or later, your mistakes are gonna, uh, jeopardize, your relationship with your kid. There was a couple times when Dad screwed up, but not anything that was drastically, where she was abandoned or anything like that. And I don't mean to minimize anything, but I think she's exaggerating a little bit when she talks about me because
well,
I don't see a hole in her heart.
Well, we can only talk from we have to listen to how they feel, that's how she feels, so we
Yeah,
can't dismiss it. But one
yeah,
thing I have to tell you is you mentioned about tough love. You say you show her tough love. Now, tough
I did.
love is not a thing that work with everyone. It worked for some people, and some people they hold resentment towards their folks because of tough love. And I'm one of those people who
Yeah,
receive tough love, and I tell you, I don't like it. It creates trigger.
nobody
It
likes
creates
it.
a lot of trigger. But
Yeah,
we
nobody
our
likes it.
parents do it for our own good. But some parents, they overdo it, and then that's
Yeah,
comes the
well, I mean,
resentment.
the kind of tough love that Ashley got from me was, no, I'm not sending you any more money, because I know what you're doing with it. Uh,
Okay.
Never did I ever, uh, you know, not make sure she had a roof over her head. If she said, I want to come home or whatever, she always had a bed to come to. I never, she never got kicked out of the house or anything like that. Or, when I say tough love, I mean, you know, I raised my voice to the top of my lungs at yelling at her and, scaring the shit out of her a time or two because she scared the shit out of me. Uh, I mean, Ashley, when she was 14 years old, snuck out of the house and, I mean, like kids do, went to downtown Troy in the middle of the night, in the middle of the morning, actually, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And it woke me up that I went to check on her and she wasn't there. So I'm out in the living room smoking a cigarette. It was in the summertime. And here comes my daughter with her little friend that I let stay over for the night, come walking up the sidewalk at 3:30 in the morning. And I lost my mind and yelling at her. And then she says, Dad, what are you so worried about? And then she pulls out a steak knife that she had in her back pocket. She says, I brought a knife with me. I'm like, that's supposed to make me feel better? This kid was crazy. I'm telling you. She put me through hell. But, you know, it makes you who you are. Like I said, she was a tough little kid. Uh, but I love her. And like I said, I'll leave right now. If she said, Dad, I want to come home, she knows, if she says, Dad, I want to come home, she knows that I'll come and get her right now. She knows that in her heart. I know she does. So, like I said, man, I've come a long way too, over the years. Like I said, God found me, and I'm a Christian. I'm born again Christian. I don't.
amen.
I'm not the best Christian in the world. You know, I still have my faults, but I do love Jesus. I sure do, and I love my kid. So I don't want to say that maybe I'll have another chance to be a dad again because I feel I did a pretty good job, with the job I did. But I might be a little different because now that I have God in my life, that's a regret that I have is I didn't really teach. I didn't really teach Ashley about God and Jesus, and I was fortunate enough to have it shoved down my throat when I was in a Catholic school. So, that's why I say I'm Christian now, but I've always known about God. But as far as religion is concerned, I've never been interested in religion since I left Catholic school. There's a story behind that as well.
Well,
Uh,
Mr. Tom, it helped me because when I was young, the first three things I knew about was my mother, my father, and God. So for years, I knew there was a God, but I didn't know God. I know Him today.
right, right,
And
right. That was the thing with me too. Like I said, growing up in the Catholic school, they shoved it down your throat. And to be honest with you, I didn't want nothing to do with it. Uh, it's just, I had nuns grab me by my hair, and back when I was a kid, they used to beat the shit out of you when you got out of line. The nuns, and yeah, I didn't like having God shoved down my throat. But it wasn't until I chose to go down the road with the devil for a very long time and get myself in some very scary situations, and be so scared and alone that you know, God showed up one night is what happened with me because I'll tell you, I was close to the end when God showed up, and it was that's a whole nother podcast, but I'm grateful. I'm grateful, and there's no question in my mind that there's a God. You know, because He saved my life for real. I mean, for real. And
yes, there
I
is a
just,
God,
amen,
and
amen.
I'm so sorry for your pain, Mr. Tom. And I don't have a daughter that's out here, but I got kids, so I can't say I really know what you're going through. But I can imagine because if it was my kid, I'd probably lose my mind. But from
I
this
did.
point on,
It consumed me, bro. It did. For a long time. I mean, even like I say, I've been looking for Ashley for 5 years now, but this whole thing. Uh, it's probably been a total of about 15 years that it's consumed me. Worrying about her and you know hoping she's okay, and it just, I mean, it's every parent's nightmare to not know where your kid is or who she's with, or when you see all these horror stories on TV, and you know it, it's a horrible thing to go through, man. It really is. you know
Sleepless nights.
well, do you
ah
still have the same number that you had 5 years ago when she was getting in touch with you?
no, and that's
Okay. Well,
no,
okay.
actually, well, I did have, but my number had changed a couple times.
Okay, well,
um
I got it. I got it. So, next time I
yeah,
see her,
this is my newest number, but I've had the same number for the past 5 years. She could have got a hold of me, but she
okay.
never had a phone. This whole time, since the last time I saw her, I don't think she's ever had a phone of her own.
Yeah, it's about people to keep phones in Kensington when you're on dope.
You know,
These phones
but
get
but
stolen.
I mean, yeah, I mean, well, when she came back that time, she had a phone. I bought her a phone, and she was all hooked up with Verizon and the whole 9 yards, and she took off. But I
Goes.
mean, I've been available. I mean, she could have got me on. I'm on Facebook every day, and I have been on Facebook every day since 2009. So there's no uh, there's no saying that oh, I didn't know how to get a hold of her, because she damn well knew how to get a hold of me this whole
Well,
It's
I'm
time.
shame and guilt.
Eh,
I'm gonna let her use my phone if she's willing to make that call, and I would try to encourage her to do so as well.
Yeah, I've had a couple of my friends say to me, what are you gonna? You can't go off on her or nothing like that. You need to tell her, it's time to come home. But I mean, I'm not gonna. She's 34 years old, man. She's a grown woman. You know, she has to make that choice for herself. But I want her to know that I'm here. I've always been here. You know, I've always been here. She just,
Hey,
God's,
well,
you know what God said to me, you're holding on to some rock there, and if you don't let go, I can't save you. So that's what I did. You know, Ashley's got that drug in one hand, and she's got God on the other hand, and she's got to let go of the rock. You know, so they and take God's hand or take my hand or somebody's hand and let that go because if she don't, she's not going to make it. You know, that's what I had to do.
well,
I had to
I'm
let
a
go.
well, I'm gonna keep her. I'm gonna keep it on prayers, and everybody who's watching this, we all, gonna pray for Ashley, and maybe we could be her rope, her crutch to send her
I
home.
hope that.
So,
I hope you. I pray that you can find her again, bro.
No, we will
I,
find
I,
her. She's on our top list right now
right.
of people to, get back home if she's when she's
yeah,
ready.
she's got. I mean, how could you not want to come to Florida when you're in Philadelphia right now?
Right. It's
Y'all,
cold here. It's cold.
Yeah,
I
right.
tell you what, I wouldn't want to be in Philly right now. No way,
And people get used to the lifestyle too, not just the drugs. The lifestyle keep people stuck down here also too.
man. I tell you what, it's 50 degrees here now, and I'm freezing my ass off. To be honest with you, it's cold,
Yeah.
Right.
and y'all are like
Yeah,
3 feet of
we
snow and
freezing out
7 degrees.
there. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah,
People are out there in
I,
the cold.
I don't want. Yeah, how they do it, man. Y'all got subways there.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Is that
Oh
what they
yeah.
do? They go down the subways and shit.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Jesus. So it's just like
Oh,
New York, pretty much, right?
yep. Absolutely. It's like how it is in Manhattan, Queens, the Bronx.
Yeah, I
Brooklyn.
see that. I see on Kensington Ave there the L train running over, but I didn't know y'all had subways too.
Next time.
And Mr.
Man,
Tom, you see Captain Kidd? You see what Captain Kidd
who?
wrote to you? Captain Kidd, the message.
I got to put my glasses on, bro.
Mhm.
I'm sending your name and Ashley's name to our prayer group. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Amen.
That's what's going to get us, to where we need to be. Prayers. All the prayers
I
we can
trust
get.
that all my faith is in God, man.
And he have
All my faith.
connected you with your daughter. He reconnected you with your daughter. So
He did.
those are the
He did.
signs.
You
Yep.
know,
And and he used us to help. So there's no coincidence about
he
that.
sure did. He
So
sure did.
now so
Y'all
now
were
you
his
can always
y'all
get
were
in touch.
his soldiers. Y'all are
Oh yeah.
soldiers, man.
Yep. We'll
Soldiers.
always keep you informed, and we'll
Yeah,
always be
yeah.
her
I'll tell
reminder
you
that
what.
she has a warm place to go and love waiting
The
for her.
other, yeah, man, and I mean, she's got a home if she wants it. But I'll tell you, the other day when I heard her say that, oh, I don't know if I believe in God or not, and I thought to myself, man, that's my fault because I never really pushed it on her or anything like that. But I can tell her right now that you believe in God now because the prayer, the prayer that I prayed found you.
Amen.
That's how I
Yep.
feel. My prayers found you, and you found her. And I can't tell you how grateful I am, man. If there's
And we
anything I
going
can do for y'all, you know, if there's anything I can do for y'all, I'd be
Just
more
pray
than
for
happy to
us.
do it for you.
just pray for us and keep having hope and prayer for your daughter to come home, and
I'll
that's
do
more
that.
than enough.
Y'all just keep doing what you're doing, man. You're doing a good thing, and
Thank you, brother.
and I I,
Thanks for
I
understanding.
I appreciate it. I really do from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate everything you're doing. I really do. So you got
Hey,
my support from here on out.
Thank you.
Believe that. No matter what happens, you guys will always have my support because you're going out on that limb for me, man. And you know, along the way, I didn't get a whole lot of help. Not a lot of people wanted to help me. They want, you know, they may have even known where Ashley was and wouldn't tell me. And you know, I guess you could call that loyalty to her, but you know, and you know, that's commendable, I guess. But you
Because
know,
we
I
don't
was,
hear the
I
other
was,
side of the story. So if somebody tell us a story that's really sad, it will make for me, it will make me feel like, oh, I don't want to talk to the parents because of what the person told me. But that's not. I'm
yeah.
starting to, open up to parents now because the parents matter too.
Absolutely.
Well, we we suffer the heartbreak. You know, the addict is doing the drugs, so they're numb about it. You know, but you know, when you're not doing drugs, and I don't do drugs. I mean, I smoke my little bit of weed now and then, but you know, I'm not a drinker and I'm not a drugger anymore, and you know, it's a heartache is is the worst, man. You know, there
Absolutely.
ain't nothing like a heartache. You know, so like I
Yep.
said, I'd rather be beat with a baseball bat than have to deal with this shit.
Well, Mr.
So,
Tom, we want you to know that you said that you'll die for your daughter, but we want you to continue living for her.
well,
Keep on
I'd like to do
inspiring.
that. That sounds like a
Mhm.
good idea, bro.
Yeah, brother. You are living right now. You're gonna live your life to the fullest in Jesus' name. All right, Mr.
In
Tom, we
Jesus'
got your
name.
back. We are boots on the ground for you down here. Every time we see her, we will make sure to let her know she can use our phone anytime. We'll stay, we'll be in the gap between both of you.
I appreciate it, y'all. I
Yeah.
really do. I really do appreciate it. And, you know, God bless you all for what you're doing.
She's our
I
family
sh-
too now, Mr. Tom. You our family and she's our family. So we're all family. So
that's
we want to
right.
make sure, we
That's
do what
right.
we gotta do.
And
That's
God
right.
bless you.
And
And God bless you, Tom. And it's been a pleasure to speaking with you. And we're gonna continue on to reach out to you.
Yep.
And before we end, is there anything you want to say to the people that was watching this who gave you the support?
all I want to say is, you know, just, you know, there's good people out there like y'all. And, you know, if you have faith in God and you know, you love your kid and, you know, don't give up. Don't ever give up because you know, as much as you may think that it's the end of the road, and just when you're about to give up is when God is going to step in and say, you don't get to do that.
Amen.
You
Agree
don't get
100%.
you don't you don't get to give up.
Yep. Agree
And I'll tell you,
100%.
I was inches away from it, man. When I found you all, and you all are answered prayers to me. You
Amen.
know,
Amen.
and I appreciate it. I really, really do, and I got much love for you already.
Yeah, brother.
And
So
thank you. I
When,
mean,
uh-huh.
that's what make the world go around. That's what make the world better. Teamwork
it
make the
does.
dream work.
Mm. It you know, like Ashley said, it's there's a little bit of a hole that's filled in my heart right now. My heart
Right.
feels full, and
Oh, great.
it'll feel all the way overfill when I get my daughter back. It'll be overflowing with love. You know, so just let her know. You know, if you see her, let her know that God does love her. You know,
I will do.
and the whole reason why she's alive is because I prayed and my sister prayed and my family prayed and my friends prayed for her that she'd be alive and you can assure her that there is a God and yeah, yeah, she needs to know that there should be no question in her mind anymore because she's still alive and the reason why she's still alive is because God loves her just like he loves all
Amen.
of us
Amen.
and don't ever give up. Just don't ever give up. If you love your kids, don't ever give up. Fight until your last dying breath. That's
Absolutely.
all I can say.
And with that, it was a pleasure with having you, Mr. Tom. And for the whole family who've been tuning in, y'all all keep Tom in y'all prayers, and we all gonna fight, you know, to help bring Ashley back home to him. And much love, Mr. Tom.
I appreciate it, bro. Much love to y'all too. God bless y'all. I'll keep in
And you
touch
too.
and you keep in touch and hopefully we can make something happen.
Well,
No
we will
problem.
make it happen.
No
For
problem.
sure. Yeah.
And,
We
and
I
you
gonna
have
believe
a
make
it.
it happen. We
you
gonna
have a
make it
good
happen.
night, Tom. But anytime you want to
You-
reach out to me, you know how. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, y'all.
No
All right, take
problem.
care.
And you have a
All
good
right.
day. Or good
You
night. But it
too.
still look like it's light out there.
It's getting dark. Sun's going down. All
All
right,
right,
y'all.
Mr.
Take
Tom.
care.
All
All right.
right.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. And for everybody who been watching, thank y'all for the support. And thanks for listening to Mr. Tom share his story with a sad story. And hopefully
It'll be a happy ending.
we could bring Ashley home. So to the next time, everybody stay safe and have a good night. God bless y'all all.